Bonjour tout le monde. Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Holt. I'm the Premier of New Brunswick. Really excited to be here today to talk about ways that we can blow up interprovincial trade barriers. And New Brunswick is leading on this front with a bill that we just tabled in our legislature to make sure that in New Brunswick we will recognize any Canadian credential from the day you land in our province, you will be able to get to work. So I'm excited to invite anyone who's looking for a beautiful place to live with the world's highest tides to come and move to New Brunswick because we've got work for them.
Premier, I wanted to ask you about that. So a couple of days ago, there were a whole host of regulatory bodies and organizations that appeared before the Nova Scotia legislature to talk about their concerns with the bill. This morning, an amendment was passed that essentially reverts it to any regulatory body that already has a labour mobility agreement in place, that they can just continue on with that. So I'm curious as to what kind of pushback you might be expecting from similar groups in New Brunswick.
We've already engaged with our registrars and regulatory bodies and have worked with them to build some of the legislation that we're putting forward. So they understand how it's designed to let people get to work right away and bring the skills that they have that have been recognized across Canada into New Brunswick. And it gives them the tools later on as they move through their process to recognize them and affirm their credentials the way they want, but letting them get to work right away.
Bonjour, Mme Holt. Bonjour. Louis Buin de Radio-Canada. Il y a M. Trump ce matin qui a dit qu'il préférait négocier avec un libéral à Ottawa. D'après vous, est-ce que Mark Carney ferait un bon négociateur avec M. Trump?
Oh, je suis certain. Monsieur Carney, on s'est rencontrés quelques fois, puis il est vraiment quelqu'un qui est intelligent, il est influentiel, est-ce qu'on peut dire ça? Ouais. Certainement, il m'a convaincu de lui supporter et je suis vraiment heureuse de lui avoir comme le premier ministre du Canada à ce moment, quand on fait face à des tarifs puis une menace économique qui est jamais prévue ici. Nous autres, à Nouveau-Brunswick, on a un gros enjeu avec 92% de nos exportations aux États-Unis pour notre pétroleum, pour notre fruits de mer, notre produits forestiers et de plus. Alors, moi, je suis confiant qu'avec M. Carney, on va avoir une bonne négociateur pour M. Trump.
D'après vous, est-ce que M. Poilievre, lui, pourrait tirer son épingle du jeu ou pas du tout? C'est quoi votre vision? Est-ce qu'il ferait un bon négociateur, M. Poilievre?
Ben, j'ai pas encore eu la chance de rencontrer M. Poilievre, mais alors je peux pas, je le connais pas, mais je suis certain que n'importe qui est le premier ministre du Canada, qui va avoir le support des Canadiens, moi, je suis prêt à travailler avec eux autres pour l'intérêt du Nouveau-Brunswick et les Néo-Brunswickois et les Néo-Brunswickoises et le pays.
Est-ce que vos députés vont pouvoir faire campagne pour M. Carney pendant les
Ah, ça, c'est une bonne question. On a juste rentré à l'Assemblée législative avec notre premier budget mardi. Alors, on avait un focus interne durant les dernières semaines et mois, mais je vais leur demander.
Premier, if you wouldn't mind taking that question in English in regards to who would be the better negotiator, Prime Minister Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre?
Well, I haven't had the chance to meet Mr. Poilievre yet, but from what I've seen of Mr. Carney and the conversations we had, his passion for Canada shines through, his intelligence shines through, his ability to influence is clear, and I think he would be very effective in negotiating with Mr. Trump. I haven't had the chance to meet Mr. Poilievre, so I don't have a comparison point.
And you know that, we all know that on April 2nd there will be reciprocal tariffs. Are you worried at all about the fact that when those tariffs come, we're going to be in the middle of a federal election? And are you worried about these issues falling to the wayside at all?
I am absolutely concerned about that. Actually, New Brunswick raised it at the table of First Ministers back in December and have raised it numerous times that it feels quite vulnerable to leave us without a point of continuity for one of the most critical moments that we have faced as a country and certainly as an economy. So we have been looking for that consistent presence at the table. I will say I have full confidence in Ambassador Hillman. She's exceptional and has been doing an excellent job, as has Minister LeBlanc. I wonder how much time Minister LeBlanc is going to get off the campaign trail to continue to focus on these negotiations, hopefully as much as is needed, because we can't drop the ball during this critical time when you're trying to ensure that the tariffs don't come in place at all, or at a minimum are diminished to the lowest level possible for the shortest time possible.
Thank you.
Hi, Premier. Mackenzie Gray with Global News. You were, during the campaign, trying to distance yourself from Mr. Trudeau. It was a lag we heard from your candidates. I'm wondering if you've noticed a difference now with Mr. Carney being Liberal leader in New Brunswick relative to was it Mr. Trudeau in terms of the Liberal brand for you?
That's an interesting question. We won a solid majority in New Brunswick, maybe bucking some of the trend that we'd seen, and we haven't had new polling out since. So we're certainly feeling a lot of support from New Brunswickers and from Canadians, because I don't think our country has ever been as united. I love to see the fact that this threat to our existence, to our sovereignty, has really brought the country together, and New Brunswickers feel, as someone who shares a significant border with the U.S., is the most exposed to trade with the U.S., we're feeling a lot of support from our provincial neighbors and nationally, and so it's hard for me to distinguish whether the movement that we experienced in order to win the election and the movement that we're feeling now with Canadians, how to tie that to federal politics.